I
Gentlemen.
had a nice conversation. Somebody actually watches the show and appreciates it. It wasn't a negative. It wasn't a boo. So I was out. Dylan, I went to your favorite golf tournament,
Oh,
Waste
yes.
Management Open in
Yes.
Phoenix. And I was walking around, and Scotty Scheffler looked right at me and said, "Are you one of the co-hosts of Age of the MGA?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
It wasn't Scotty Scheffler, but it was somebody just as famous in the insurance space. Our good, so Joe Cannon, who Peter, you introduced me to, invited me out to get a little sunshine in Scottsdale a couple weekends ago. And his good friend, Mike, who listens to the show, works at Nationwide, and he was with us. And we were all out for dinner. And he's like, Doug, I was walking my dog the other day and I'm looking for a podcast to listen to and saw Age of the MGA and thought I'd take a listen. And now he's listened to all of our episodes. So we have one listener that
Wow.
says something good about the show, doesn't hate us, just enjoys listening. So Mike at Nationwide, thank you so much for listening. They run a lot of interesting programs over there, Dylan. I think maybe we should try and get him on the show, talk
Sounds
about all the cool stuff that they're working on. Just a thought.
Is it like a fan appreciation day? That kind of idea?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. Well, he's in the space. I think it's,
of course. I understand.
Valid. More valid than any of us talking about MGAs.
I guess that's probably true.
Start naming all the people who listen to the show and giving them a personal hello at the start of every.
We should, yeah. It's really the only way.
That would kill at least 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah, by our third season, we might have like 5 or 6 people to name off. It'll be great.
And listen, this has to be better than speaking about the weather, right?
True. I hope.
Does anybody have any weather videos they want to share?
I have an MGA
Not this week.
thought.
Not this week. Is that appropriate for this show?
Yes. Did you guys hear about Flock? I think that was like a very breaking news.
Oh yeah, they got bought. Yeah,
by Admiral Group.
Yeah, Ed Klinger. They've been around probably 10 years now. I want to say.
Literally what his post on LinkedIn said. So he sold it about 10 years ago. Sold his first policy for £495 for drone insurance. $4.95. It's not dollars, it's pounds. How do you say cents in your world, Peter? How does that make sense?
Pence.
Yeah. Would you say $4.95? How would you say that?
Yeah, £4.95.
Okay, all right, there we go. So
Dylan, come on, get out to England.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to be arrested.
Learn different cultures. Yeah, they speak the same language, Dylan. You're fine.
That's iffy.
Unless you go to Wales, where they speak Welsh, which I found out on this show. Thank you, Peter. Sounded like a real moron. If people want to go back to, I don't remember what episode it was.
Yeah,
it was one with an Englishman.
Yeah, or
maybe a Welshman. We're speaking about Wales.
Yeah,
they're usually pretty covert.
And people are probably like, "Can you guys just go back to talking about the weather? This is really boring."
The one headline I saw that I think everyone's been talking about on LinkedIn. I've seen about at least 50 versions of this post, but probably one that interests Doug, I guess. The OpenAI broking effect. Have you seen those stories as well?
Broking effect. Oh yeah. So very interesting, right? I bought a lot of brokerage stock when that happened the day after. I think it was a silly move. Basically, a personal comparison tool. Peter, you guys have these in England. They've been around for 20 years. Yeah. This just has a little bit of AI that I've heard doesn't really work that well.
I've seen some examples of it. It's not the best, I don't think. It's just another front end for it without the advice. Look, obviously AI is transformative and cool in so many aspects, but people go to brokers, in my opinion, because they give specialist advice and comfort about their business. I'm not sure today AI does that.
No. Dylan, did you hear about this? So Willis and all these brokers had 10 to 15% shaved off their stock price when one of the tool in the UK, Peter, the ChatGPT tool, or
it It was a Spanish company, right?
Oh, Spanish. Right.
Yeah. Spain, I think it was Spanish insurer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I think I put one of my comments to one of these posts was, but if you look at MMC stock, for example, it's still, despite that drop, double the price it was in 2021.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly like they've been a bad investment for people. And the run Gallagher's went on in terms of the stock price, you could argue all these were almost incredibly artificially high for what they were. So there was probably some correction no matter what.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what?
We don't give financial advice on this show. So
we do. No, we absolutely do. You should take everything we say.
Doug is not a licensed broker for securities.
Dylan, I used to have my Series 7, 63, and 65
before they were stripped of you because of poor decisions made. But didn't we have in the States Compare.com, which was actually based in Richmond, that was doing a bit of that as well, and is actually a Admiral company?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, Admirals who bought Flock, right?
It is, and also, like I said, Compare.com. So full circle.
Okay.
Look at us bringing these topics
Dylan,
together.
I know.
Speaking of Richmond insurance companies, you know what has been my best performing insurance stock of all time?
You bought Kinsale back in the day?
Kinsale back in like 2019. It's a couple of years after that. Well, IPO'd in 2017.
I don't remember which year. My wife worked there at the time.
Was that insider trading that I just did?
No, definitely not. No. I don't think I knew you then. So
yeah, let's give out some insider trading advice as financial advice. That's the new direction we're taking the show.
How about we bring on our great guest today? What do you think?
Yeah. One last thing, SEC, come and get us. We're ready. We're ready to go to war with you.
Let's not do that. Yeah.
All right. We have a really good guest today. This guy is an MGA aficionado. He lives in the great country of Israel. He's invited me several times to Tel Aviv, and I have not taken him up on that yet, but I will. I promise. We should go do a show in Tel Aviv. A lot of insurtech going on out there. Maybe he can talk a bit about that as well. Comes to the States a lot. Loves the U.S. He spent time here with his family. I believe he spent a good period of time in California, getting some good sunshine. Which I don't know why. Tel Aviv has enough. He should stay on the East Coast where it's dreary like England. But we're going to bring him on. He's going to talk about all the great things that he's working on with a couple different MGA products that they have. Guys, it's Tomer Kashi.
Tomer.
Hey, Tomer.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
How are you doing?
To see you.
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me.
Tomer, the joke's on you. You'll feel really bad after this. Because you'll watch it and you'll be like, guys, please don't put that out there. But we're going to do it anyway. So too bad.
We're going to drag the worst out of you.
Doug, let's start with your intro topic, because I was lucky enough to go to Tel Aviv once or twice on business, and it's such a cool city, really fun. Tomer, for people who haven't been to Tel Aviv, just tell them why it's a cool city and what kind of stuff there is to do there.
Well, I think that the combination of everything that people like: good weather, amazing food, smart people most of the time, and no, it's amazing. It really is amazing. It's very far away from the US, but the flights are very convenient. You're on plane, go to sleep, you wake up, and you're there. So when you take like a flight from the US to the UK, then it's I think like 7 hours or so. So it's not enough. It's not enough for the sleep. Yeah. But when it's an 11-hour flight, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Especially when you have young kids. If you have young kids, you sleep better on the flight than at home.
That's true. That's true. Because you drug your kids up, or at least that's what we do. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Tomer, Tel Aviv also has you and SkyWatch and VOOM. So another great reason to visit.
And one of many, yeah.
Maybe tell us a bit more about InsurTech Israel as well. So is that based out of Tel Aviv?
InsurTech Israel or InsurTech in Israel in general?
Well, both. But hopefully every single InsurTech is a member of InsurTech Israel.
Yeah.
If not, Kobe's laying down on the job.
I think from a bird's eye view, okay, insurtech in Israel is not one of the biggest kind of startup segments that Israel has. I think Israel is really good in cybersecurity, enterprise software, fintech in general, and insurtech is kind of like one segment out of many in the country. The thing is that the numbers of startups per capita here is so high. I think that Tel Aviv University, the university that I went to, I think it's like ranked out of the 10 universities that produced most unicorn founders in the world. Okay, so within that, we have a very, very good startup ecosystem in general. The founders really help each other. There is a lot of access to capital, and there are a lot of playbooks for how to kind of start a startup. The Israeli market by itself, to sell the Israeli market, there is nothing. It's a 10 million people country. It's like New Jersey. Okay, so usually the playbook is having the R&D team in Tel Aviv, and the go-to-market usually in America. And specifically in InsurTech, we saw many success stories already. So we have Lemonade and Next Insurance and Hippo, where the founders are Israeli. They have an R&D in Tel Aviv, and some also kind of like upcoming contenders, Fay Insurance and Honeycomb and Empathy and many other InsurTech related MGAs and others. So even the InsurTech ecosystem here in Israel is kind of thriving. Nice.
Very cool. Well, so tell us a little bit more about SkyWatch and VOOM. You guys have been on a journey. I feel like every year I see you launching a new product or kind of thinking about a new market. You're always very curious, and yeah, I'd love to hear just about how you guys got started, the evolution into new products, how you guys think about that. Anything you're kind of willing to share there.
Yeah. Okay. So you Doug already kind of like know me well, but for those that don't, just as a high level, I'm the co-founder and CEO of VOOM. VOOM provides smart insurance products for specialty segments in the mobility world, usually segments that traditional carriers kind of overlook. We started with commercial drones. Over time, we became the largest commercial drone insurance provider in North America, both in the US and Canada. And then we kind of built, using our technology, additional products. One of them is light aircraft. So today we're probably the fastest growing light aircraft insurance provider. Another product is a pay-per-mile insurance product for motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs. Today we operate under two brands: SkyWatch for things that fly, VOOM for things that have wheels. Over the years, we issued around 500,000 policies. So yeah, that's a big number. Obviously, some of them are annual customers. Some of them are customers that came for insurance by the hour. Okay, and we try to find the best solution for all. And I think that there are kind of like many stories that we learned along the way about things to do and things that you should not do. And I'm very happy to open and share. I will say that I didn't come from the insurance world. Up until 10 years ago, I didn't even know the difference between an actuary to an underwriter. Now I believe that I'm already brown belt in everything. So I'm not expert in anything, but I'm kind of dangerous enough to know what's going on across all segments, and also happy to elaborate on that.
Yeah. So the first time I heard of VOOM was back when we were trying to come up with a name for our auto MGA. And we're like, VOOM insurance would be a great idea. And then we Googled it. We're like, the son of a bitches, they already got it. But I think you guys had just launched at that point. So I didn't know you guys yet. But I remember the first time I met you, I think it was in Vegas, maybe at ITC. And I was like, that's the guy that took my name, the name that we wanted. And then you came up and you were so nice. And I was like, oh, I gotta love this guy now. Can't hate him anymore.
And moments later, he was like, I need another name, Buckle. And then that was taken.
Taken as well. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And then Dylan came up with Stable because he's like, we're going to sell horse insurance.
Yeah.
VOOM is a wonderful name for things that move. Okay, it's like one, it's short. It's a kind of like, sounds like move. It has two O's that look like a wheel, so it's very kind of good for branding and to play with the logo and do cool stuff. So yeah, we really like the name.
VOOM is the sound that, like, when you rev a motorcycle, right? Vroom.
Exactly.
No, vroom.
Exactly.
Vroom.
That's vroom. Yeah.
And VOOM was taken.
Vroom was taken. Who's doing Vroom insurance? What is that?
It's not VOOM insurance, but I think it's a car dealership kind of startup.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Big fan of companies with two O's in the name, I must say. The other thing, Vroom and let's say Loro. Yep. In other things, Tomer, the SkyWatch as well. I was thinking when we're coming onto this show, SkyWatch. Where I mean, it's obvious the name, I guess. You're insuring things that are in the sky. But when I first heard that, I was like, oh, this guy a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars or something like that. It seemed like a sci-fi type name. Yeah.
This is, there are the names that you kind of, think together with a big forum and kind of brainstorm and find the right name. This is what happened with VOOM. With SkyWatch, we kind of just started the company. And I remember that we had kind of a first meeting with someone at Swiss Re, and we didn't even have a name for the company. You need to create a deck. And okay, having a meeting in 3 hours from now, let's call it SkyWatch. It's my co-founder Ori's idea. Okay, SkyWatch sounds great, and it's a pretty strong name, and we stayed with this name for a very long time, and it's today a very well-recognized brand. So when you go to, let's say, ChatGPT, you ask them what's the best drone insurance in America, SkyWatch is the first result, and it's very funny that it's a name that my co-founder Ori just thought about without even putting any attention to what's gonna happen with it.
Yeah. That's a classic startup move right there. It's like, oh, we got a meeting in 3 hours, so we better have a name.
Yeah. Okay, so Tomer, can you talk a bit about your the genesis? So those early days, like how you guys decided to focus on drone insurance at the onset. Maybe what you and Ori were doing prior, right? And like what interested you in the insurance space, just in the first place.
Yeah, you know what? Let me give you the prequel of the genesis. So Ori and I, we know each other for maybe 20 years now, and we met together in the boot camp of the Israeli army. Okay. Both of us were in a very small elite academic program in Israel called Talpiot. So in Israel, the mandatory service, the service is mandatory. Everybody goes to the army. I think that Talpiot is kind of like there is no real equivalent in the US, but kind of West Point just for techies. Okay. There are 10,000 applicants a year, maybe 50 are accepted, and let's say 40 graduate. The concept is that you will study computer science and or physics for 3 years. This would be your service instead of doing other stuff. And then you will stay for 6 more years in leadership position in the army. Specifically, I stayed and did cybersecurity projects that sounds like very, very different than insurance, right? But I think it's at least the thing that I did. I started as a programmer, data person, and then became a kind of like a tech project leader. And surprisingly, there are more things that are equivalent that I can find, the things that are different. At the end of the day, it's my role. I thought about new ideas. I got resource. I justified it to management. aka VCs, I got resources, to execute on these ideas, and eventually I brought meaningful yield to the organization that I was a part of. Okay, usually I would say that prior to what I did, I was pitching the president and prime minister, and now I'm pitching VCs. But the concept is very similar. After around a decade in the defense forces, it's kind of very common for Talpiot graduates either to go to the academia and become professors. That's not my style, or to go to Google, Facebook, or to found a startup. A third of us usually start something. So for me, it was clear that I want to do something. Didn't know it's going to be in drones. I didn't know it's going to be, let alone in insurance. Back then, I think it was 2017, drones were emerging. And usually there are good opportunities for startups when there is a big thing that happens. Okay, it could be, later on it became, now it's AI, sometimes cyber, sometimes crypto. Back then it was drones. Today, maybe quantum computing. I think it's a very interesting field to play in. And as software people, we kind of created a safety analytics platform for drones and tried to pitch it to enterprises. Problem was that no enterprises, wanted to buy. Drones weren't that adopted back then. And then we kind of thought, okay, insurance could be a problem, because insurance for drones, the drone costs $1,500. Insurance was $1,000 a year, mainly, of course, for a third-party liability. And the people that insure it were aviation insurance people. So they used to insure airlines and spacecraft. And now you come to them, as a wedding photographer with a drone and wanna get drone insurance. So we pitched our safety analytics platform to aviation insurance companies. They were very impressed by the technology, but they couldn't really take our safety score and get it into their mainframes. So instead, they told us, why don't you guys become the MGA and we'll back you? Little did we know. We knew nothing. We didn't even know what it means, but obviously we said yes. Quite quickly, we became licensed in all 50 states. We built the entire policy admin system from scratch. Back then, there weren't solutions like Loro that you can just start with a turnkey solution. We need to build it. And this is very, very hard to sell the first dollar in insurance, because by definition, you need the carrier that will work with you, you need the policy administration system, you need the licensing, you need some kind of first customers that will try you out and really buy insurance. So it took us, I think, maybe 18 months for the first dollar. And later on, it became, this product for drones became the category leading product. For sure, by number of accounts, we insure drones across tons of segments, from this wedding photographer that won insurance by the hour in order to show the certificate of insurance to the wedding venue, to engineers doing inspections with LiDARs, to drones that do spraying of chemicals in the fields, to drone deliveries, to drone light shows. We grew mainly organically, but we also acquired some other startups along the way, including the company with the great name droneinsurance.com.
Very original.
And fast forward to today, we continue to grow in this segment. What we learned along the way is that our technology, all of the policy admin system, the B2C kind of know-how, the broker platforms that we have, the APIs for embedded insurance, and many other things that we did along the way could be relevant for other segments. Okay, and it was clear for us that we won't go after home insurance or auto insurance. That I think it's very, very crowded, I would say. But we did think that there is a lot of room for innovation and digitization in specialty segments, in P&C, specifically the mobility world, in mobility, you get some kind of like telematics data and other data that you can influence the risk and not only the distribution. So then we venture into light aircraft, also a segment with, I would say, like average policy of $1,000, $2,000. I think it's very typical. We're doing it for owners, but also for renters. Okay. Interestingly, for renters of aircraft, let's say you are a student, you want to rent the aircraft for several hours. The only solution before SkyWatch came was to buy insurance by the year. We're now the only platform that allows to buy renters insurance for aircraft, not only by the year, but also by the month, week, or day. So we did that. Obviously, many of the renters then become owners, so they stay with us. So it's another flywheel that we really like.
What's a light aircraft? Is that like a Cessna? So basically, still a fixed wings aircraft. It's not like a souped up drone that we see now, or maybe it is, but that's
we have a kind of like, we now have everything and a lot of exotic stuff as well. But I think the typical thing is that you're gonna exit in a few years from tourists. You're gonna be wealthy enough, and you're gonna buy a Cessna to fly, eat an hamburger somewhere, and fly back. And you want to get insurance. I think today SkyWatch brings insurance for these like Cessnas and Pipers to the same level of car insurance. You go online, you rate, quote, bind, and you get a policy kind of like immediately. Today, we're the only ones doing that, okay, allowing you to buy aircraft insurance completely online.
Yeah, I think Doug's probably wealthy enough today. It's just the skill factor that lets him down.
Yeah, nobody. I'm uninsurable.
It could be. Yeah, Doug. Maybe you can go to our competitors in this case.
Yeah, yeah. You can pay me to go around and blow other books up, create some claims.
Tomer, I just
Dylan's supposed to be getting me a MiG with his kind of like back channel.
Well,
contacts. Where are we on that?
We can't talk about that on the air.
And Tomer, how much would it be to insure this MiG? Purely liability. I don't need property, personal property. I'm thinking maybe 30 to 50 million, depending on where I'm flying and what my loadout is. Dylan, are you working on the missiles as well?
Again, can't talk about that publicly, but that's okay. Tomer, just curious.
It's something we'll elaborate on later.
Yeah. Tomer, are you actually insuring any jets? Because that's it's a lot of the same idea, but just a different way to propel the thing.
I think that as a startup, you kind of like need to stay focused and need to understand what you're really good at and what less so. Okay, I think that we can do everything, but we're very, very good in the high volume, low premium policies. Okay, these are things that you really need to sell digitally, because otherwise the expense load doesn't make sense. And two, you have enough data for statistics for meaningful risk analytics. Okay, and the more you go up market, it becomes more art than science, and more kind of like people skills than tech. Okay, and if the owner of the aircraft is the operator and the one that is buying insurance is going online, perfect. I think that we're the best solution. If the owner of the aircraft and the one that is buying insurance on behalf of the owner of the aircraft is not the same person, and they are used to go with kind of like big brokers that also insure the estate of the owner or the like the corporate and stuff like that, I think this is not a market that we're the best player for.
Sure. So Tomer, on the SkyWatch side, is it 100% direct, or is there any broker channels at all?
So actually, we do work with brokers. So our product, I think, in essence, is B2C. Okay, we provide a consumer product. Having said that, we don't distribute only through our website. We do work with brokers. Many brokers prefer to just send these customers to us for for the better servicing and digital servicing. Most of the things that customers, it doesn't end with purchasing a policy. Then you need to change things. Sometimes you need to handle payments. So many brokers just put a white label co-branded portal of SkyWatch on their website. Customers just go purchase and we share commission. It's also very common that, let's say in the aviation insurance world, many of these brokers insure flight schools. The flight schools are big, big fleets, and they need the aviation insurance and some other, GL insurance, workers' comp insurance, a lot of things that we don't do for these schools. But then they go to the students of the schools that also need to get insurance, in this case, renters insurance, and they recommend them the SkyWatch branded portal. Okay, so we work very well in conjunction with brokers.
Nice.
Can you? I want to get into the evolution, right? The other things that you're working on, but maybe I'm just very interested in drones as well. And I think over the last 10 years, we've seen a massive evolution, whether it's like drones being able to transport people, product now. Which I don't know if you guys are thinking about that aspect, but also more from a detrimental aspect, from a weapons perspective, which I know that's not what you're getting into. Those aren't consumer goods, or at least unless they're black market. Which again, Dylan, looking forward to what you find there for me. But second, just like drones with AI capabilities now, and thinking about some of the liability concerns there. Are you guys thinking about that, moving into that space? And I guess all the above. So drones that transport people, drones that transport product, and then AI concerns around programming these things and maybe losing potential control of them.
Yeah. Let's unpack this, because I think it's really interesting. And also I can see a lot of equivalence between like the aviation world to what we see in cars. So yes, like the entire industry is evolving. Drones, I think in the military and in commercial aspects, both kind of like segments are growing very rapidly, and we see how effective it is, and one segment influences the other. I think that we're going to see, and we're already seeing, kind of like convergence between what's a drone and what's an aircraft, because now we see drones that move people from one place to another. Is drone insurance, aircraft insurance, is both, and we're already underwriting those. Okay, so we're looking at such things, and I think that this industry with the technology will continue to evolve. Okay, so we are a growing player, but in a segment that is growing very rapidly. The other thing that you said that in my mind is very, very interesting is what happens with AI in general and the autonomous like operating of a vehicle. Okay. And I think that in aircraft, you're seeing it sometimes before you're seeing it in cars. Okay, obviously the car insurance, the auto market is huge with trucking, for example, transportation of goods, but it's much harder to have an autonomous truck than to have an autonomous drone. Less things can go wrong when you're flying something from one place to another and you're only in the air. There are no traffic signs. There are no pedestrians, jumping at you. And
it is more catastrophic when there's a failure, though, right? Because I mean, when something in the sky falls, right, that is a catastrophic loss.
Yeah, potentially, I would say that, let's say in aircraft, you have like autopilot for years now, way before you had it in auto, right? And then it's also very interesting to see what happens when there is a claim. So there was the 737 MAX crash several years ago, several crashes, if you recall. And it was due to software failure in Boeing. Okay, so eventually it was, and it's still, I think, like kind of like an ongoing claim of billions, but it's a product liability claim, and not necessarily like a claim to the airline or claim to the pilot. Okay, and I think that like fast forward to, let's say, like in a decade from now, we are going to see similar things in the auto market, similar to what we are seeing now in the aviation market, that many of, especially in airlines, many of the claims are actually software related and not necessarily piloting related.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing, because I've had this conversation a few times before, which is what is the future of that liability? And when we're talking about a fleet, so let's talk about Tesla's robo-taxis, right? So if a individual person owns it and puts it out into the marketplace for allowing it to effectively be rideshare, right? Or taxi, when it has an accident, whose liability? I mean, first of all, as a plaintiff attorney in America, you're suing everybody involved is the short answer. Sure. But who's actually going to be held liable? Is it the owner of the vehicle who's done nothing but allow it to do its thing? Is it the people who develop the software? Is it the people who develop the hardware? Is it the platform that it was on, right? And so there's a lot of different parties involved there, and it is going to be interesting to see how that works. And I mean, in this case, it may be both. Tesla is both the hardware and the software and the developer, so it could, and possibly the platform as well. It could be all of those things other than the owner of the vehicle. But in other cases, you're going to see a lot of cooperation. You see Volvo, you see GM doing their work. Those sensors were purchased from someone else. Software was also purchased from someone else. The owner of the vehicle is different. The platform that it goes on later could be, not related to Volvo or to whatever, to GM. And so you could have actually 5-6 parties involved in this as potential defendants, and it's really interesting. Yeah. It could also come down to the software, the cyber security work that was done that's supposed to prevent it when a hack happens into those things could be involved. So I see this as an interesting evolving place, and we haven't actually proven out what the answer is going to be. It's just speculation at this point. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm sure that everybody is going to subrogate against everybody.
We'll see how it goes.
You kind of like started dealing with it's unclear who is liable, right? Yeah. And everybody is going to sue everybody, and people are going to sue everybody.
Yes, and that's almost certain. Just to be clear, I don't think that's in question. But who actually ultimately will be found liable in the future once you have many suits that have come out? They'll be distilled, right? Some defendants may just put in a de minimis amount of money to just get out of this thing, but but who is really going to be taking the brunt of it is a question I think that has not been answered.
So yeah,
and no pressure, Tomer. This will be precedent for future court cases. We will be circulating this.
Pull up this clip.
I think that a good framework to think about these things is to find, precedents in kind of like adjacent markets. So we think that what we're seeing now, specifically in the 737 case, could later act as a precedent for other things that we'll see in adjacent markets, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm thankful, however, though, that large passenger aircraft don't have enough volume of cases to really, I do agree that it could help with precedent, but there isn't going to be the volume of cases, and hopefully, right, with commercial aircraft, and so it's going to come down to things like cars, right, and drones, which there's huge numbers of, and could have potentially a lot of lawsuits.
Let's just hope we don't have any cases. Let's just hope we don't have any cases, especially not of fatalities.
And none at SkyWatch. Which I was going to say, Dylan, we can get into a claims conversation now, but SkyWatch just doesn't have any, so we can't talk about that.
With our loss ratio, you need to have another guest to speak about.
Listen,
claims.
When you bring up loss ratio, we have to talk about.
Here we go.
2% loss ratio. With the gentleman,
Tomer,
you're kind of in this space. Did you know about these guys in Miami with a 2% loss ratio? Have you heard of these guys?
Which guys? I want to get into.
on the show because
yeah,
it's proprietary
Doug always.
and they might
Let's bring
sue
it up.
us. But they have a 2% loss ratio. Well, I'll send you the tweet later on. And the point is, if you don't have a 2% loss ratio at SkyWatch, I'm not even sure we're going to air this episode. Sorry.
I'm not really sure that you want to be a 2% loss ratio. It seems like you're kind of like unfair with your customers.
Yeah. Listen, these guys have it figured out though. So just we can learn a lot from them. I'll connect you guys. Do what you have to do with them. But you'll love it. You'll love it. I'm surprised you haven't heard of these.
That's interesting. Okay.
Brilliant down in Miami.
Okay.
Coming back to moving away from this point again, coming back to Dylan's comments, which I think are really interesting. So I was sitting back listening to that, thinking, yeah, it's very much like, we've all heard this. If you start going into kind of product defect type, product contamination type coverages where people are supplying component parts or whatever, and there's often strict rules about subrogation or contractual kind of descriptions in that. Dylan's world, not mine, but certainly observer from afar. So in terms of just if I'm there operating a drone for commercial purposes, what are the essential coverages I should be buying for that? And kind of one, what am I required to have? Two, what should I have?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting to know that. Yeah,
that's a very good question. So I think that the basic thing that we provide with every drone policy is liability. Okay, so liability insurance, third party, and it includes what happens if, God forbid, the drone falls on someone or falls on a truck that then makes a car accident. Okay, so that's the very, very basic coverage, and it also includes personal injury that kind of covers also privacy claims. Okay, so that's, I think, the table stakes of every drone insurance policy. The other coverage that is very common, especially today, is hull insurance. Hull, like in marine, the physical damage of the drone and or the payload. Okay, so I said before we covered drone that cost $1,500, but today many of our customers have much more expensive drones, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 drones that sometimes clean windows in buildings. We call it SkyWatch. And just yesterday we looked at a customer that have a LiDAR that cost more than $300,000. Okay, obviously they want to get it insured and they want to get physical damage coverage. The other coverages I think are kind of like more unique to a specific use case. For example, if you're spraying and you're spraying with chemicals, then you also want chemicals exposure. Because like what happened if, God forbid, someone could claim that your chemicals ruined their corpse. Their crops. So that's another coverage that is kind of typical in this market. But guys, we're 30 minutes into the episode, and we didn't talk about AI.
We talked about AI.
Like a real MGA related episode if we didn't talk about AI.
We can talk about some AI. I'd be curious to hear how you guys are implementing AI internally, if you're thinking about it from a product perspective. We poke fun of AI on the show, even though we use it internally for different parts of all of our individual businesses, I know, and to do and help speed up and make our production more efficient. That said, I think it's hyped to a certain extent. There's definitely a ton of vaporware, which is nothing new to startups. I think whatever the tech of the day is, there's vaporware around it, whether it's cyber or IoT or now AI. But yeah, curious on how you guys are working with it, whether it's in product or just in operations.
I personally think that there is actually a lot of substance in AI and capabilities specifically for MGAs. So, and tons of low-hanging fruit. So it could be like vaporware if you're trying to do like a B2B sale to an insurance company and say that you have AI inside, like Intel inside. So this could be the case, but I must say that for us, within our company, and I'm sure it's very, very true to other tech-enabled MGAs, what happens now with LLMs is a major unlock. And we're using different kinds of AI across the entire organization, from for R&D to product, to marketing, to sales and customer service, to underwriting. And in each and every segment, we're doing something quite meaningful that I think like 6 months ago we didn't do. Okay, so R&D coding with Cloud Code, Cursor, I think it's table stakes today, make people much more efficient across not only insurance, everywhere. And it doesn't mean that you need less people, but you can do much more with the people that you have. Okay, product and product insights. Today I have Claude connected to our data. I'm asking things in free text, and I'm getting insights as you know, as a CEO. Now I'm also kind of like the product manager. We have a product manager that is amazing, Leo, but I can get insights that I don't need to wait for 2 days to get. Okay, and these things are implemented quite effectively and quickly. Marketing. We used to have within the marketing department a content guy and PPC ads guy and partnerships person. Today, everything is done with one amazing chief marketing officer. His name is Amir. He has an AI-based marketing operating system. And if I ask to write a blog post, within an hour, it's on the website. Okay, because it's already integrated into a website system with pictures, and the amount of work that you can do, especially in the go-to-market, is amazing. Customer service and sales, everybody has chatbots. That's I think table stakes again. The question here is kind of like, how much of the things can you automate? Okay, and I think there is a very, very long tail in things you can automate, because just like answering things from the FAQ is easy, but if someone needs to get a refund and you need the context and you need to make sure that you're refunding the right person and not someone else, and you need to make sure that they didn't have claims and they need to sign a few forms before you refund them, it's much more complex. And like that, there are 30 other use cases that you need, okay? From COIs to uploading documents to specific places. So there are tons of things that could be done. We call it Project Maverick. Maverick, like in the aviation world. But Maverick in Hebrew is Maverick. It's like bright. So it's a very, very cool project that we're having. And lastly, in underwriting, I think it's also one of the interesting things. So many of the things that we're doing are completely automated, but in some cases, if it's, let's say, a drone light show, spraying, more expensive light aircraft, even in motorcycles, we have some things, then we need to do kind of like manual underwriting to look at it ourselves. Some of the things we approve, some we don't, some we need to change the rates, some we need to send to the carrier partner for them to decide because it's a very high liability or any other high risk profile. And now in underwriting, it's very important to keep not only quick customer services, but also consistency. And also partly the way that you submit a risk also is very influential on the chance that it will be approved. So we have a lead underwriter in our team. His name is Matt, and we created Matt GPT, named after him, that really acts as a co-pilot for Matt. Okay, gets the intake, understand what's going on, gets the context, does the triage, creates a pre-ready email that we can send to the carrier partner, and Matt just need to review it and send. So I think I gave a lot of examples, but the two main takeaways is, one, I think it's critical for MGAs, tech-enabled MGAs, to implement AI across all segments. And two, more often than not, you can do it internally within your organization. It's much easier than it was 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a really refreshing and pragmatic approach to AI. It's good to hear. The one thing I really enjoy as well is the AI puns. So we have, and the guys will like this, we have a new team member at Lotto called Jamie, and his nickname at our offsite last week was Jamini, because he just knows
there's all the AI stuff.
So many obscure facts about everything. So yeah.
So Tomer, the way you lay that out is internal table stakes, which I think is 100%. If you're not doing those things, regardless if you're an MGA, I think it's like any organization, definitely from a startup perspective, we'll start seeing these things filter up and are seeing these things filter up into larger enterprises with varying degrees of success. I think where I get annoyed is when people are like, this is like email, having a website. That's what it will turn into, versus like, hey, we have this new chatbot that does all these great things. It's like, it's not your chatbot. These are developed by labs. There's no moat here for you to talk about, but you're still talking about it. And you're claiming maybe more AI nativeness than truly makes the case based on what you're using. Which again, I just see these as table stakes now versus like a LinkedIn post about your new chatbot or whatever it might be, naming it something silly. Again, we all have websites, we all have email. And 5 years from now, I think this is where this will end up. Are there truly AI enabled companies? 100%, not just the labs, but probably I would guess 1 in 10 of people that are actually doing something related to AI today.
Doug, just to reinforce your point, okay, as an MGA, we're a tech-enabled business. Okay, the moat doesn't come from the tech; it comes from the business. The tech needs to enable it, and everything that the company, MGA, is doing with AI should eventually come to the benefit of the customer. Okay, and or for the benefit of the business. But it's less about cutting costs and more about better quality and faster response time. So, but again, it's a tech-enabled business. The moat is in the business, not in the tech.
Yeah. Well, your moat is Tomer. Tomer Nor.
So
there are many others in the company that also contribute.
I don't want to get you in trouble. You'll go back and like giving Tomer a big head.
I think one of the most important AI discussions that we haven't had yet is that SkyWatch sounds a lot like Skynet, and you're insuring drones that are going to go around and take over the world. So yeah. Kind of a Terminator reference there. It's a little scary, right?
I haven't seen that movie. Is that good, Dylan?
You've never seen Terminator? Yeah, sure.
I'm joking.
Maybe we need to change the name. I'll talk with Ori that thought about this name, in a few minutes, and maybe didn't put enough attention to these details.
Yeah,
we should reinvent.
Well, listen. The important thing here is to be the insurance of the future, and if Skynet is taking over the world, SkyWatch is the thing that insures it. So you're going to be
create your own market. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you can keep SkyWatch.
Yeah, this is a nice segue. Hopefully, it's not SkyWatch the answer, but I think the way we like to end our show with the Peter reference question. We'll see if it is SkyWatch. Maybe it is, Skynet. Creating Skynet is that the legacy that Tomer wants to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just say my quick closing point on AI, which I think sums up probably Doug's opinion on it as well. If you're building AI for investors rather than customers, you're probably spending time in the wrong place, and I think there's a lot of that. So my famous question, Tomer, that we ask every guest, so I'm sure you've seen this before on our shows. I'm not going to judge you if you haven't watched before. Is your legacy, your footprint for everything you're doing, well, both in your professional and personal life? How would you like that to be seen?
It's a very good question. I'm not prepared, although I did listen to a few of the episodes.
And you still came on. That's amazing.
I think that what really drives me, and I think it relates to the legacy as well, is the fact that we're kind of touching real people that are using our product, okay? And it gives a lot of joy and fulfillment to see people that love your product, talk about what you do, especially in our niches. These are people that kind of like speak with each other. It's like when you have an epidemic, you have like super spreaders. So if someone is happy with the level of service that they got, the good claim that was solved, you're seeing it in the market, okay? And when someone is going on Facebook in a closed group that I can't even get into and recommend your product, I think that you're doing a very good thing. Connecting it to legacy, I want this brand, both SkyWatch and VOOM, to continue for years to come, and to continue to serve tens of thousands of customers, potentially hundreds of thousands of customers, and also to see the team continue to kind of like build it. We have people in our company that are now with us 5, 6+ years, happy what they're doing, developing professionally. Okay, I remember the day that they started and how they are today, and what a huge jump they did with professional skills, with their managerial skills. And this is also something that fulfills me.
Beautiful.
I love that. Yeah. Tomer, buddy, thank you for spending an hour with us chatting about this all. Lot more we could chat about. I'm sure we'll have you back on again. We're trying to do more in person, not live shows as much as I want to do them, and Dylan won't let us. But we'll have to have you on for one of those. Get a few drinks and chat. We can do some chit chat about insurance, which is always fun. People love to tune into that.
Will be a pleasure.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Tomer.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What a good guy. That guy.
Yeah.
Really interesting stuff. Those guys have been at it for a long time. OG InsurTech, I think.
Yeah, definitely
Probably
early. I
10
mean,
years now.
they're 10 years in. I did check, and I can't remember what it was now because it's already forwarded to skywatch.ai, but droneinsurance.com, I believe. I checked it, and it shoots right into skywatch.ai. So they've definitely been around for a good little while now. I mean, it's close to 11 years, and that's definitely the beginning of official InsurTech.
Right. Second company that I want to go work for that I've applied to. Been pro first, got dinged a number of times. SkyWatch, always get dinged. Every time I apply for a job there, they say no. Yeah,
I mean, not smart enough. That's usually the answer you're getting.
And they won't even let me buy a policy now because of you outing me on my jet ideas, Dylan.
Listen, I try not to do any kind of arms dealing. That's not really a list that I want to be on.
Yeah. No,
I'm
Richard.
pretty sure I met this one in Barbados once, though. That was an arms dealer. He was like, "I'm in logistics." He looked just like James Bond. I'm like, dude, this guy is 50 years old, absolutely cut and ripped. Was watching him free dive like 40 feet and stuff. I'm like, buddy, you're in logistics and you're independently wealthy. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're an arms dealer. I wasn't going to say that, but so I think I've met one once.
That'll be Peter in 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, I like the look. Your beard's coming in here. You're kind of committing to it.
What, are you talking to me or to Peter?
Honestly, I was noticing that both of you are getting.
We're beard twins, Dylan. What you don't want to do triplets?
Shaved it all off this morning, nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Like
this is actually.
I'm just trying to survive, Dylan, from our offsite. I've come back with some cold-like symptoms from Mexico, so just
I saw your
not sneeze too much with my hanky on the show. Yeah.
Given I saw your WhatsApp message, Peter. I didn't reply. Peter sent me a WhatsApp
normal.
message saying, "Hey,
Very
not
typical.
feeling well," and just ignored it.
Yeah, but we have.
But I
got more
emailed you.
episodes going
I
on.
emailed you, and
You did.
So,
Um,
too many channels of communication. I can't keep up with all of them. I should get some AI for that to consolidate everything and just respond for me.
Okay, I have to ask: have you guys opened up your own little OpenClaw bots? Do you have your own Mac Mini who's running an OpenClaw yet?
No, I don't want to unleash that on the world.
I broke my friends. I'm not going to say who it was, but he unleashed me on it, and I absolutely demolished that thing. It gave me all of his personal information. Be very careful.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did try something, Dylan, which is very modern for me. I tried the Nano browser plugin.
Oh,
have you tried that?
Interesting.
On Chrome?
I have not. I saw it being advertised, and I have not played with it yet. I've got the ChatGPT Atlas browser.
That's very good. The browser is very good for Atlas. The issue is you have to be paid, right, to use it. So Nano browser does something very similar. So I've connected it to the Gemini 3.0 version.
Yeah.
And you can ask it to, basically I could say to it, go to LinkedIn, like open LinkedIn, and because it's on Chrome and I'm connected, it will just do it. So open LinkedIn, I could say, comment on the latest Age of the MGA post along the lines of, I think it was a fantastic episode with brilliant guests, and it will go into your browser and take.
Are you robo texting on our own LinkedIn post?
I'm slamming the Age of the MGA posts.
God. I'm not liking any of your comments anymore.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I'm not sure how functional it is because, to be honest, it doesn't really save time versus opening it up and just putting the comments in.
It's fun to watch, though. I would just like to say all of my really shitty posts are mine. I did those.
We can tell
on my own. Yeah,
we can tell. Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah.
I have to edit them because I'm like, I misspelled that word.
I have been going to poke you in the comments recently quite a bit on LinkedIn. And, it's been
laid a trap for Dylan the other day. I have been shit posting on the weekend just for fun, and I load them up and I forget that they're in there. But there was one that I put in that I knew was going to trigger Dylan. Started with like
he's out of his mind. He's out of his mind.
And Dylan sends me this message being like, "Oh, look at Doug, I'm so fancy," whatever. And then I had this
Français, parlez-vous français? Yeah, I remember.
Comment loaded for Dylan, talking about America, and just made Dylan. That made my day. I was a little disappointed. It took me like 3 hours, but I was waiting. That was my Sunday.
I'm not
the only Eiffel Tower
around.
we see is. Sorry, Dylan, go on.
No, I don't spend my days just waiting for Doug posts.
I was waiting to post that comment. I had it loaded. I was like, don't close my LinkedIn browser. Just waiting. Kids wanted to play. I was like, I'm busy, guys.
Sorry, kids.
Sorry. We got shit to do. I got somebody to make fun of on LinkedIn.
The only Eiffel Tower we see is the ITC one, right?
And in Vegas.
Yeah, well, we have one in Richmond too, in Eiffel Tower, just north of it in King's Dominion, a amusement park here. So they've got a lot of
a good roller coaster. Maybe I should come down.
Okay, come on down. Well, we have Busch Gardens. I like that better than King's Dominion personally.
You just take me around and get me
sounds good.
A funnel cake, some soda, win me a prize.
I'm not going to get you all figured up. You're like a crazy kid, like a little ADHD kid. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Dylan, you have to close with our cool announcement with Scout Ohio and give people some info on that.
Yeah, we got to plug that way more
on the what hire? I'm sorry,
Scout.
We have
we bought Scout and SureTech.
That's it. That's the announcement. Yep. Well, we're gonna have Chris on here. We're gonna fire him live. By the way,
Chris worked for us.
Yeah.
And we're giving discount. It's crazy. We're giving discounts out. We bought the brand. We're giving discounts out. You can go to we don't have a website, but if we did, we'd have a link.
We'll have AI whip that up here in a he'll
AI whipped it up. Doug hasn't.
And it was terrible. It's okay.
Posted the site yet, but he'll get around to it. I think.
AI
Doug AI. No, Dylan. What is the deal that we have with?
All right, sounds good. Well, we're offering 10% off for any of our listeners. Age of the MGA 2026 is the coupon code. That's going to get you that 10% off. We we're now I think there's one more tier right now. So there's time periods where, of course, the price goes up as you get closer to the event. I think there's one more increase before the show, so before the actual Scout conference. So go ahead, get in there, get your 10% off. It's going to be the cheapest you can get the ticket, or you can buy the membership and to Scout. That'll also get you 10% off. Our code works there as well. So
what's the membership?
Do it right now. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, all kinds of extra things with the membership. I'll talk about. We're having Chris on. We'll talk about what those.
We'll talk about it.
Exactly.
What's the code to get a free ticket?
No such thing. Sorry.
You told me. You texted. You said that there's a code for free tickets.
Was
that not meant to talk about that publicly?
See, now we're saying
run a competition
publicly, and what's happening, Doug, is that really that was all a prank setting you up, but now I don't want to ruin it all for everybody on that listens to the show.
We own Scout and SureTech now. Why don't we just give it away for free? You know how I love giving free stuff away, Dylan, given my politics.
It would be I would hate to have Scout have to sue us over you saying that we own Scout. Right.
Let's make some claims.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do we need to get some liability insurance for the show?
Huge amounts. Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be helpful.
And make some claims.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Chat with you later.
See you next time, guys. Bye.